Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Raider roster report. This is Raider Sparks coming at you, and it's draft day today. I hope all of you Raiders fans are excited as I am out there to get with the draft. We've been going over mock drafts and different prospects and things like that. It seems like for a couple months now, so it's all here. It's time to go. Obviously, we don't have a first round pick, but who cares? We have Devontae Adams, so no big deal. So hopefully everybody's fired up for the draft. Love to hear all your comments, things like that. Please like, share, subscribe to the video. Today I got a long video, but I'm going to get to the point here in a second, and I'll make the first part quick so you all can hear it. You can all hear kind of the players that I've sort of set aside or picked as good prospects for the Raiders to potentially either draft or go UDFA. And yeah, so we'll get into it here in a second. I'm going to do it in two different ways. I'll do it by round, and then I'll do it also by position group as well, so you kind of get them both. And then I'll go into a lot of detail. So I know if you don't have time for that, that's cool. But yeah, please like, share, subscribe, comment. Love to hear what everybody has to say in Raider Nation. And yeah, so let's just first off, I just want to say it's really hard to do a draft and try to be accurate. I mean, I know I'm not accurate with this, right? But it's tough. There's so many prospects, so many team needs, and it's just hard as a fan to do it because you don't know what the team's thinking or the needs. Like you don't even know the draft picks you're going to have. I know what it says right now, but what it says now and what we actually come out with at the end of the draft and after the 3 days of the draft, that type of thing could be completely different. We have no idea trades and trade ups, trade downs, those types of things. So that makes it difficult. We don't know what other teams are going to do either. So and then it's just it's tough to know sort of obviously what the team thinks their biggest need is, and then a fan what we think the team's biggest need is. But I'll give it my best shot here and see what I can do. When I put the prospects together, I kind of went off of how they did their visits. And so like the more I had on here was the most I have prospects on here is quarterbacks because they had 10 quarterback prospect visits. So I kind of did it that way, and I didn't do it perfectly. Like I think I have 5 linebackers on here. They only met with 1, so it's not perfect. And that's why I say as a team and organization, they might see it one way, and as a fan, we kind of see it a little different. So I kind of put my own spin on it as well. But hey, they do. They get 30 visits. I got 30 visits. And the fun thing I'm going to do is just kind of see at the end of the day, after the end of the draft UDFA period, how many guys that I put down as possibilities are actually on the Raiders team. Hopefully there are several. Hopefully I don't go 0 for 30. And I will preface this now, those of you that really pay close attention. I have 31 on here just because Jabari Sawyer, he didn't. There's no testing on him. It was all private workout, so I have no idea. But so I went ahead and gave myself 31 just for the benefit of the doubt on that. And yeah, I had a lot of fun putting this together, that type of thing. So and it's like I said, it's challenging to do, and so yeah. And so what else did I want to say about the draft? Oh, everybody that's draft eligible that I said is a round draft was actually at the combine. So and that's because last year with the COVID, there was only 20 players with no combine invites that were drafted. So I figured the odds are a lot better in my favor to do that. And yeah, we'll see where this takes us tonight. So. And with that, let's get right into it. Oh, and the other thing it makes it really tough is rumors, that type of thing, all the rumors that go around. So, should I plan for a second round pick, all the trade up scenarios or the trade of Waller or maybe trade of Jacobs or who knows what, and so should I plan to go higher in the draft than we already have? And so that makes it even more of a challenge as well. So I'll just kind of throw that out there. But let's get right into it. The first way I'll do it is I'll do by round. And then I'll do it I'll break it down in positions, and then I'll go into detail. So hopefully you stay with me to this part because this is the fun part. And hopefully at the end of the day on UDF day, I can circle a lot of these players as being on the Raiders team, and so and I did try to do it with the consensus draft board, and I tried to make it as realistic as possible. Where the consensus has people, I kind of try to fit them in that way, and so the consensus isn't always right. In fact, it's often not. But that's the best thing I could think of to use. So it's kind of what I did. So round two, and I know we don't have a second round pick, so I'm going to use two of my visits on potential second round players. One being Christian Watson, the wide receiver, and the second being Leo Chenal, the linebacker. So then we move on to the third round, and I've got Jalin Woods, tight end, Jeremy Sawyer, offensive lineman, and Damaris Mathis, defensive lineman. Round four, and I didn't plan it this way; it just worked out. But I got Tariq Fields, the cornerback, Damaris Mathis, cornerback, Joshua Williams, cornerback out of Fayetteville State. Then I've got Jake Ferguson, tight end. Zach Tom out of Wake Forest, the offensive lineman. I've got Tyquan Thornton, wide receiver out of Baylor. Brandon Smith, linebacker out of Penn State. Damian Pierce, running back out of Florida. And then in round five, I've got Daniel Bellinger out of tight end out of San Diego State. Chris Paul, Tulsa offensive lineman, not the Tulsa offensive lineman I really want, but we can't get Tyler Smith, I don't think so. See here. Next is Logan Bruce, offensive lineman out of Wisconsin. Yoami Uzurike, Iowa State defensive lineman. And Tyson Anderson, safety out of Toledo. And then in round six, I know we don't have a 6th round pick, but I have a feeling somehow, some way, we're going to get an extra pick somewhere. So I went ahead and included a 6th round in here, and I've got Eric Johnson out of Missouri State, a defensive lineman, and then Kevin Austin, wide receiver out of Notre Dame. And then round 7, I got E.J. Perry out of Brown University, the quarterback. David Anai, Houston, outside linebacker. Then I've got Cortez Ingram, USC running back. I've got Kevin Harris, South Carolina running back. And then my UDFA guys, I've got Sam Wales, cornerback, Feyon Hicks, cornerback, Kyler McMichael, cornerback, Luke Wattenberg, offensive lineman, Dion Novel, defensive lineman, Jeremiah Moon, linebacker, and James Houston, the 4th linebacker. So if you want me to do that hey, please like, share, subscribe. Let me know how I did. I'm going to go into more detail about the players I picked and why I picked them, but I just want to give you a quick hit right now because I know you all might be busy today or doing your own draft plans and that type of thing. So, but if we just look at it by quarterback, and like I said, I had 6 quarterbacks. Kind of matches what their visits were. They had 10. So Tariq Fields out of Penn State, Damaris Mathis out of Pitt, Joshua Williams out of Fayetteville State, Sam Wells out of Missouri Western, Feyon Hicks out of Wisconsin, and Kyler McMichael out of UNC North Carolina. And then tight end, I did 3 tight ends, and I think they had 6 visits. So I have Jalin Woods out of Virginia, Jake Ferguson out of Wisconsin, Daniel Bellinger out of San Diego State. And then offensive linemen, I'm not sure exactly how many they had. I think they had maybe 6 or 7. I don't know. There's different sites, but I ended up with 5. Jeremy Sawyer out of Georgia, Zach Tom out of Wake Forest, Chris Paul out of Tulsa, Logan Bruce out of Wisconsin, and Luke Wattenberg out of Washington. And then D tackle, I have 5, and I think they might have met with 6, so I kind of went a little heavier maybe. But I got Damaris Mathis out of Alabama, Yama Uzurike, I'm not sure how to say his name, but out of Iowa State. Eric Johnson out of Missouri State. Dion Novel out of North Texas. So I guess I only had 4, huh? Oh, yeah, 4. 4 defensive tackles. And then wide receiver, I've got 3. I've got Christian Watson out of North Dakota State, Tyquan Thornton out of Baylor, and Kevin Austin out of Notre Dame. Safety, they only met with 1 safety, or 2 safeties, I think, but this was hard. I only did 1 safety, and I'll explain it later. But Tyson Anderson out of Toledo. Quarterback E.J. Perry out of Brown. They only met with 1. I did 1. So, and then linebacker Leo Chenal out of Wisconsin. Brandon Smith out of Penn State. David Anai out of Houston. Jeremiah Moon out of Florida. And James Houston out of Jacksonville State. And then at running back, I did 3, and they met with 2. Tony Ingram, Damian Pierce, and Kevin Harris. So Ingram is out of USC, Pierce is out of Florida, and Harris is out of South Carolina. So yeah, please let me know how I'm doing here. If you guys are following along, if you like the content, let me know. please definitely share your thoughts and opinions. So now the video will get a little longer just because I wanted to sort of clarify it. And so what I did with the defensive backs is I really had press man cover guys in mind. Extremely athletic. I kind of did a profile. Obviously used Gilmore and Jackson. So in that sort of 5'10" to 6 foot range, the 190 to 200 range, 40 time, 438 to 446 range, vertical that 35 to 36 range is what those guys are. Broad jump is 10 to 10.3 range. The 10 split is 147 and 154, so really good 10 split times. It's part of what makes them so good. But the short shuttle is really what makes them good. 394 to 428, and the 3 cone 661 to 692. Bench press 15 and 14 respectively. So I kind of tried to find guys like that, but also came from programs that did press man. And then if we saw them at the Senior Bowl or at a Shrine Bowl or anything else, I could kind of watch those games and kind of see how they did. So the first one, Tariq Castro Fields. Like I said, it's a little longer part of the video, but had a solid senior day. 6 foot 197, 438 40, 37 vert, 10 11 broad jump, 147, 10 split, 406 short shuttle, 705 3 cone, and 14 bench press. So he's right there with those other guys that I just mentioned. Obviously, Gilmore and Jackson are phenomenal. And so, yeah, he had very, very strong. I thought he had a very good Senior Bowl. I mean, he's got some work to do for sure. That's the reason he's probably a third or fourth rounder. But I think a really solid pickup for us. And we don't need these guys to start right away, which is the beauty of it. So it's the guys that we brought in. So I'm happy where we're at with it, but bringing in some depth and some good quality because they're all 1 year contracts. So if we can find a couple guys that are really, really good, it'll make the negotiation next year even that much better for the Raiders. So and then Damaris Mathis is one of my favorite players. 5'11", 196, 439 speed, 43.5 vert. It's awesome. 11 foot 1 inch broad jumping. He had a 418 short shuttle and a 15 bench. So he's right there athletically, very gifted. 5 pass breakups, only 50% completion rate against them. A lot of press man coverage. Pitt leaves him on an island a lot. He thrived out there. Did a good job at the Senior Bowl. He was voted best man-to-man cornerback. So he's got safety in his background as well. So he's versatile. And so, yeah, really like the player. And I didn't mean for the first 3 guys to be all fourth rounders, just the way it worked out. But Joshua Williams out of Fayetteville State, I talked about him the other day. 22 pass breakups in his 3-year career, 5 INTs, 22 years old, so he's young. Obviously, small school guy, but I like him. Fact that he's 6'3" and 195. I just like the fact that we maybe get a little taller receiver, a taller cornerback to go up against the taller receivers. I think it's a nice mix for our group. 4.53 speed, so it's a little slower, but 6'3", get away with it. He's got long arms too. 36 vert, which is great. 10 foot, 10.4 broad jump, 439 short shuttle, 702 3 cone, and 11 bench press. So athletically very good. That extra height and length, it'll make up for a little bit of the lack of straight line speed. Although at the Senior Bowl, he was clocked at the fifth fastest, I think, miles per hour, is like 21 or 22 miles an hour. So with football pads on, different story, right? He's very gifted athlete, small school guy, but I think he'll do a good job. And next, he's getting a lot of buzz now, is Sam Webb. Out of a very small school. So what did I say his school was? Like Western Missouri or something like that. Let's see here. Where's Sam Webb? Oh, Missouri Western. Sorry about that. So a UDFA type guy, but 6 foot 201, 448 speed. So maybe not the straight line speed, but 42.5 vert. It's fabulous. 11.4 broad jump was awesome. His 10 split 157, short shuttle 418, and then 3 cone 694 and 14 on the bench. So a lot of man-to-man coverage. He played the Shrine game, did a great job there at practices. So I think he's a good player. He's a lot of experience in man-to-man. And so that's the reason I picked him. And then Feyon Hicks out of Wisconsin, only a 51% reception rate, 8 pass breakups this past year. Very, very good player. He's about 6 foot. Sorry, I don't have his height, but he's around 6 foot, around the 200 mark as well. 4.37 speed, 37.5 vert, a 1.48 split, which is fantastic, a 3.94 short shuttle, which is phenomenal, and a 6.78 3-cone, 13 bench press. So he's got that quick twitch agility that you want to see out of a man-to-man guy. He's physical. I played a lot of man-to-man at Wisconsin, so I think he'd be a terrific fit for the Raiders. They have really low. I don't know if there's anything going on there, but yeah, I would definitely take a shot. UDFA, I would definitely bring him in and see what he's got. His athletic profile is fantastic. And then Kyler McMichael, this is more of just a my guy, to be honest with you. He played at the Shrine Bowl, 6 foot, 202. He's a big dude. 4.34 speed. He wasn't at the combine, didn't get the combine invite. 32 vert and a 9.6 broad jump, so not great. 14 on the bench press. The straight line speed is there. The reason I did this because I had a chance to watch the Shrine Bowl, and he, to me, was the best cornerback there. He anytime the quarterback looked his way, as the first read, never went that way. Always went somewhere else. And I couldn't figure it out. And then they showed a little bit more. He was press man, off man, zone, doing everything. His career is really weird. It's been up and down. He's been benched, all this other stuff, and switched schools. And um, stats aren't eye popping, but I think there's a lot of talent in this young man. So I'm like, you know what, UDFA, let's bring him on. The straight line speed's there, but he's just got a knack for playing quarterback, I think, is kind of what it boils down to. So, anyways, next, Jalin Woods, who I think is the best tight end of the class. He played the Shrine Bowl, dominated. He had 114 QBR when targeted last year out of Virginia, 6'7", 259. So let me back up. So I just took a look at Gronk's combine, 6'6", 258, 34-inch arms, 4.68 speed, 33.5 vert, 9.11 broad jump, 1.58 10 split, 4.47 short shuttle, and 7.18 3-cone, 23 on the bench. And Jelani Woods pretty much got him in all categories. 6'7", an inch taller, 259, a pound heavier, 34 arms, same. 4.61, 40, so a little bit faster. 37.5 vert, got him by 4 that time. 10.9 broad jump, got him almost by a foot. A 1.57 10 split, got him by smallest of margins. 4.33 3-cone, got him again. And then 6.95 or 6.95 3-cone and a 4.33 short shuttle and 24, got him by 1 on the bench. So, I mean, if you want to compare anybody, I mean, that's a pretty good comparison, I would think. So, if we were able to get Jelani Woods in the 3rd round, I would be ecstatic, especially if the Waller thing happens. So, anyways, Jake Ferguson, I think, is a good blocking tight end, but he provides a lot more than that. He was at the Senior Bowl, and he could be an offensive weapon as well. He's just not as athletic. 6'4", 250, 32-inch arms, so he doesn't have quite the catch radius. 4.81, 40 speed, 31.5 vert, 9.10 broad jump, 4.48 short shuttle, which is fine, and then a 7.03, which is good. 3-cone and 15 on the bench press. So he needs to get a little stronger and things like that. But I mean, he could definitely play the position, and I like him just because he's a good blocker. And so if we're looking at maybe Foster, I don't know what his situation is with us. I think we like him, but if something changes there, he would be the perfect replacement for Foster Moreau. And then Daniel Bellinger, he's a really underrated, I think, tight end. I think he might be one of the best, one of the top guys in the class. And he was voted as such at practice at the Senior Bowl by his peers. They rewarded him for that. 6'4.5" out of San Diego State, 253, 32-inch arms. So it doesn't have the arms, but the 40 is really good. 4.63, 34.5 vert, 10.5 broad jump, 4.47 short shuttle, same as Gronk actually, and 7.05. 3-cone, he had 22 on the bench press. He's good at all aspects of the game. They were questioning at the Senior Bowl his catching ability, that he showed up there and he was catching everything beautifully. He had a RAS score, just to kind of put it in perspective. Kittle had a 9.29 RAS, and Daniel Bellinger has a 9.66, so that's relative athletic score. So kind of give you a little perspective on the young man. He's a very good player. If we end up getting him in the 5th round as our tight end, that would be great. He can really do it all, type player. And then the hardest category for me was the offensive line, because I have no idea what we're doing. I don't think they do either as far as the Raiders and what's going to happen with our offensive line. If you look at statistics from the Patriots and kind of compare what they do, it's typically a very athletic left tackle. Uh, the interior linemen are all almost all the same, around 300 pounds, around 6'3", and very athletic guys. And then your right tackle is just a super large human being. It's kind of what they did. But when they put it together, the tackles they compiled it. It was just out the other day. It's misleading because the left tackle and the right tackle they use two different types of tackles. So, uh, and then I kind of wanted to think about our offensive line and who we have, and then who they're bringing in. And it appeared to me that they're trying to bring in guys that play multiple positions, either a guard or tackle. Guys are 320 plus, which is a kind of a change for them because typically, like I said, their interior line's 300, but our interior line right now is not that. You have Denzel Good, Illuminor, Simpson. These are all like 320, 330 guys, right? These are all bigger guys. Obviously, Leatherwood is like 315, but and then I'm sorry, Andre James is on that closer to that 300 mark, sure. So that's kind of a traditional or typical guy, but it seems like they're trying to bring in guys that sort of match what we already have. And so guys that can play guard and tackle like Good and Illuminar. Obviously, we have Brandon Parker as our swing tackle, so we don't really need a swing tackle because we just paid him a bunch of money to do that. We have our so. Anyways, that's how I did it. But I still need some certain athleticism, like around 29 vert. It's got to be over 100 broad jump, probably over like 105 or better. The three cone, or short shoulder, you want around 4.6 to 4.8. Three cone, you want around 7.75, and then bench if you got it around 25 or higher, sort of the ideal. The tackles are, I guess, 6'5", but again, it's misleading, and the guards are 6'3". But length, too, I'm looking for definitely 33 and 5'8" seems to be sort of their offensive tackle length, and I think they're trying to do that with everybody they bring in. So I just kind of went with that number and just try to find the guys that kind of match that, really. And so I think I did a pretty good job. And here I kind of went with the hype, too. There's a lot of hype around Jabari Sawyer, and he didn't work out. It was a private workout, so I don't really know his stats, but he's 6'4", 321, 33 and 5/8 arms, 31 bench press. So he's super strong, right? A lot like John Simpson. But here's the cool thing about him. He played left tackle and right guard. So if we want to replace Simpson, cool. And if we want to play him at right tackle, we can because he's got experience on both sides of the line, even though they're different positions. He still has a left hand, right hand on the ground. He can do both. So I think it was a solid pick. So I like that, and that's basically going along with all the hype too. And then Zach Tom out of Wake Forest, 6'4". Let's see here, 1 second here. That is not right. He's like 320 something. I think I wrote down the other Zach Tom, but anyways, this Zach Tom is he's like 320. So yeah, but he still is over 33 inches. Plays tackle, guard, center. Has very good ratings. He's 4.94 40 guy, 33 vert, 118 broad jump, 4.47 short shuttle, and 7.32. Three cone. So he's very athletic. He definitely would meet the profile, and so I like him at either guard, tackle, or center, whichever you prefer. So either can go either way. And actually, I wonder if I wait. I'll get back to that. I think I might have messed that one up. I'm not sure which one I had him for. Actually, no, that is him. He's just his weight's different than it's listed differently on different sites. So I apologize for that. The stats are right, but his weight is off there. But anyways, so we'll move on. Sorry about that, and you guys can correct me on that in the chat. No problem. I'll just look it up later because there are two Zach Toms. It's confusing. So the next one is Chris Paul, and again, not the Toledo guy I wanted, but nonetheless, 6'3.5", 323. 33 and 5/8 arms, which is right there. 4.89, 40, 27 vert, so a little low, but 109 broad jump, which is great. 4.83 Short shuttle, 774, which is great. 3-cone, 26 on the bench. He played left guard and right tackle. That is like the perfect scenario, right? If we're looking for a left guard for Simpson or a right tackle, that is the perfect scenario, right? So he can do both. That's the reason I picked him. And he meets the athletic profile close enough, and he's got the size and that type of thing. So, and let's see here. The next guy is Logan Bruce out of Wisconsin, 6'5", 309, so a little smaller. Sort of that guard, but he can play tackle. 33 and 8th arm, 5'3", 40, which isn't great, but 31 vert, which is great. 112. Broad jump was really good. 4.55 short shuttle and 7.57 3-cone, so really good. And he played right tackle and right guard. So not only that, but he's very athletic. He's more athletic when it shows. And this is just sort of my pick too, because I just think he's going to be a good lineman in the NFL. He looks like a Patriot lineman, and so I figure, what the heck, seems like the reasonable thing to do. But they also line him up sometimes at tight end too. He's athletic enough to go out there and be that six lineman, or go out there and play the tight end position as well. Which hey, what the heck, we can always use that. And then I picked Luke Watmore because obviously we're going to need another center at some point, or backup center, or a camp body center. But out of Washington, but he's kind of more than that. He's 6'4", 299. He really beats the profile. He's got 34-inch arms. He played tackle for a little bit. 5.20 40 time, which is great. 29.5 vert, 4.57 short shuttle, and 7.45 3-cone. He played left guard. I think he did play some tackle too, but primarily a center. He'd be brought in as a center, but very athletic. I mean, he's definitely somebody that we should consider, or at least the Patriots probably have him pretty highly on their draft board. I'm not sure. So anyways, that's how I got my 5 linemen. And yeah, and then Federia Mathis. We'll move on to the defensive tackles, but he had 10 tackles for loss and 9 sacks last year out of Alabama. 6'4", 310, 34 and 5/8 arms, 10 3/8 hands, 83 wingspan. So he's a big dude. 5'3", 40, doesn't matter. 23.5 vert. You'd like to see that higher, but a 109 broad jump and a 4.91 short shuttle. The guy's a beast. So yeah, Alabama, no problem. It'd be great to get him in the 3rd round. Yama Uzurike is one of my favorite tackles in the draft. I mean, he's 6'6", 316, 35-inch arms, so he's got tremendous length, over 10-inch hands, 84 wingspan, which is fantastic. 33 vert, 107 broad jump, 23 reps, so he's strong. Don't care about the rest of it. I mean, I think he'd be a solid player for us. He had 12 tackles for loss, 9 sacks last year, so yeah, there's no reason why we shouldn't get him. I had a really tough time too in the 5th round. Neil Farrell was he'll be my 32nd. How's that? But he's a 5th round probably too. And I just couldn't I just didn't want to put another D tackle in the 5th round. So I skipped Neil Farrell. So those of you that are big fans of Neil Farrell, I know there's a lot of you out there. My apologies, but I had to make a cut somewhere. That was a difficult one for me. So anyways, moving on, one of my other favorite guys in the draft is Eric Johnson. 31 pressures last year. His big thing he's a small school guy, so he went to the NFL PA Bowl and got great coaching and bumped himself up to the Senior Bowl. And for some reason didn't get a combine invite, which I thought was strange. But 6'4", 302, he can. And I should mention that Mathis, Uzurike, and Johnson, all these guys, I like them so much because they can play up and down the line. You can go 0 technique all the way out to 5. Although Eric Johnson maybe wants 3 to 5, but the rest of the guys 0 to 5 technique, which is what we want. We want guys to be able to move up and down the line. But back to Eric Johnson, he's got length, 33-inch arms, 10-inch hands, big wingspan, like 83 wingspan, 4.87. 40, which would have been the 3rd fastest at the combine for D tackles. So why he wasn't there, I don't know. 27.5 vert, 107 broad jump, 4.66 short shuttle, and 7.58 3-cone and 20 reps. So very, very got a lot of talent. He's coaching is what he needs. This guy's got the body, the type, the build, and all that, the quicks. He just needs some coaching, and so that's why I got him on the list here. And then last, I wanted a big, and I missed out on Farrell, but I wanted a big guy to play nose tackle. But Dion Noble, he's a tale of 2 different players. 6'4", 330 pounds in 2020, but 2021 he played at 303 pounds because they had to change the defensive coordinator, so he went from nose to playing nose and 3 tech. But he's got an 80-inch wingspan. Just a 5'18", 40 for a man that size. It's fantastic. 29.5 vert, which is great. 105 broad jump, 5 short shuttle, and a 797 3-cone. 27 on the bench press, so he's strong. 51 tackles last year, 5 sacks, 9 tackles for loss. Playing more of a 3 technique, but he also, the year before that, his stats were kind of the same almost, playing a pure nose tackle. So he's got, not only can he 2-gap, handle the straight up over the nose, but he can go out to the 3 technique as well. And, you know, he's got the frame and the build, the strength. So if a team wants him to be at the 300 range to play more 3 technique, or if they want him to bulk back up to 330 and play the 0-1 technique, he certainly could do that. He's from North Texas, so that's why I picked him. So moving on, we'll go to the receivers. I did 3 receivers, as you know. Christian Watson, obviously it would be very difficult to get him, but he's the perfect complement to Devontae Adams. I mean, if you look at it, he had Marcus Valdez-Scantling, who's kind of a similar build, very tall, lengthier, but very fast, right? And that's kind of what Christian Watson is. Awesome player. I'd love to get him. Not only he's got, I think his dad was in the NFL. He's got the pedigree. He blocks. He does it all. He's 6'4", 208, 4.36 speed, 1.45-10 split, so he can get off a man press, no problem. 38.5 vert, 11.4 broad jump, 78 wingspan. So yeah, this is a no-brainer. Look at what we've been trying to do in free agency. We were DJ Chark, Marcus Valdez-Scantling, all these tall, lengthy guys. And obviously, we brought in Matt Collins. He doesn't have the speed, but he's got that height, and so we're looking for a bigger receiver. And so the next one I went with was Tyquan Thornton, a total Raider move. I couldn't pass up the speed. 6'2", though, 181. Got a 79-inch wingspan, so he's got the length, but a 4.28, 40, 33-inch arms. Sign me up. 36.5 vert, 10.10 on the broad jump. Averaged 15.3 yards, and he had 10 touchdowns. So he's got the big average, touchdown maker. I didn't put Christian Watson's stats on here because they're not actually as good as you think. His average is good. His yardage is great, but I mean, he's just a tremendous athlete. But Tyquan Thornton as well. If we missed out on Christian Watson, I think Tyquan Thornton would be a good complement to what we need. We need a burner on the outside and somebody with the height and a burner. There's a lot of burners in the draft, but I think we want a guy with the speed and the height. So I did that. And then one of my favorite players in the draft, very underrated, is Kevin Austin. I think he's as low as he is because he battled some injuries. And obviously, I don't like the quarterback in Notre Dame that much. I don't think he's that great, Jack Cohn or whatever. But anyway, 6'2", 208, 200, 32 and 7/8 arms, 4.43 speed, but at 39 vert, 11 broad jump, 4.15 short shuttle, and a 6.71 3-cone. Fantastic. 18.5 yard average last year, 7 touchdowns, 79 wingspan. I think he had an unofficial 4.37, so he's got speed. I think the only reason he's down as low as he is because he's super athletic. He's really good. He can run all the routes too. He gets yak. He does all of it. I mean, he's one of my. Even if we got one of the other guys, I'd still take him to come in and challenge Brian Edwards. So, anyways, fantastic play. I really like Kevin. I think he's got a bright future ahead of him. And then Tyson Anderson, I had a tough time with the safety position, to be honest with you, because I really don't know. I like Tyree Gillespie, so, and we just brought in our new guy too, so Harmon or whatever, Patriots old guy. But who knows what's going on with Abram? I think Devon Diablo is going to play a lot of the safety role, the box safety, if we go to something like that. But and then I just couldn't find a free safety. There are a lot of free safeties I like, or a lot of split safeties I like. It's just kind of with the rounds started getting later and later, it got harder and harder, and I really wasn't sure if Abram, if he's going to be on the team or if he's going to be healthy. So I wanted a guy that could be versatile as possible. If you look at sort of the average of the safeties for like the Patriots, 5'11", 202, 31-inch arms, 4.51, 40, 36.5 vert, 120 broad jump, 4.17 short shuttle, 6.94 3-cone. So I wanted something very athletic, right? That's a good profile to have. But I wanted size as well. Somebody that could match up and guard, defend. And so Tyson Anderson just made a whole lot of sense. 6'1", 209, so a little bigger, which is good. 10-inch hands, 33-inch length. So he's got length. I think he'll do well against tight ends. He could cover pretty well. He's got some technical flaws in his game, and you expect that coming from a small school. So I'm not going to hold that against him. I think with our coaching, we can coach him up. But his RAS score was really phenomenal. He had a 4.3640, which is great. 35.5 vert, 123 broad jumps. So that's 10 feet 3 inches. That's fantastic. 4.28 short shuttle, but a 6.64 3-cone. That is phenomenal. And so I went ahead and put him down as our safety, and I went back and forth with a bunch of different guys. And draft position had a lot to do with it. And if we're going to do an unsigned guy, there's a guy I liked, Scott Nelson. I really liked him coming out of Indiana as an unsigned, undrafted free safety type, but I only had 30 visits, so I had to cut where I had to. So I went ahead and did that. And then I'm not going to get too much into the quarterback, but EJ Perry, we met with him. 7th round UDFA type guy. Why not? We're going to take a fourth quarterback at some point, so might as well be him. And then Leo Chanel, another one of my favorite players in the draft. And I've covered him a bunch of times, but 9 sacks, 18 and a half tackles for loss last year. Immediate inside linebacker that can blitz is exactly what this defense needs. Our linebackers, Patrick Graham likes linebackers in the 250 range. So 245 to 250 is ideal. He's 6'2 and a half, 250, a 4.53, a 40.5 vert, 10-foot 8-inch broad jump. But man, a 3.94 short shuttle and a 6.84 3-cone, 34 reps on the bench press. I mean, we got to get this guy somehow, some way. Anyways. And then Brandon Smith out of Penn State. Guy I like athletically. I thought he should have stayed another year, but I've talked about it on the show too. And I think I'd start him at Sam, but eventually move him inside just because he's kind of still learning. He's really young. So is Leo Chanel. Both these guys are really young. I think they're like 21. But Brandon Smith, 6'3", 250, 34-inch arms. He's got length. You see it on tape. 4'5", 240 is awesome. 37.5 vert, 10.8, same as Leo Chanel. Broad jump, 4.08, 3-cone, or short shuttle, and 6.9 for 3-cone, and 20 reps too. So this guy is a phenomenal athlete as well. I just would love to get a guy like this in our program here on our team. And again, I thought the one thing I would know, and I said it last time I talked about him, is when you watch him on tape, honestly, it's like you see guys tackle other. You see it on when you watch TV, right? You see a guy get tackled. Okay, he's tackled. With him, it's like a blur. As soon as he's about to tackle, it's like you don't see him. It goes so fast. He's a dynamic hitter. And so that's really what, and the length shows up on film as well. So, sorry, that's Brandon Smith right there. And then, let's see here. Jeremiah Moon, a lot of injuries, 6-year player, played edge a lot, but they moved him to the middle linebacker this year. He did very well, and actually the Raiders brought him in for a visit. But he's 6'4 and a half, 249. Great length, 35-inch arms, 83 wingspan, 4.76, which is fine with that wingspan. You can get away with it. But 40.5 vertical and 11.1 broad jump. Fantastic athlete. 4.55 short shuttle and 7.09 3-cone. I really like him as a potential, somebody to learn how to play inside linebacker, but could come up and rush the passer as well. Kind of like Leo Chanel, right? He could rush the passer, but Jeremiah Moon could do even more than that, right? He could be an edge for you if you want him to. So, I mean, just would be an awesome pickup for us. Oh, shoot. You know what? And I forgot a picture of, and I apologize, David and I, who's my outside linebacker. I really like him out of Houston. 6'2", 251, 83 wingspan, 34 arms, 4.66 40, 37.5 vert, 10.3 broad jump, and 25 reps. So David and I think would be a fantastic outside linebacker for us. Obviously we have Chandler Jones, and who knows what we're doing with Malcolm Kuntz. But if we could bring him in out of Houston, it would be fantastic. That athletic profile is terrific, and he's got what it takes to bend the edge. He would do well. And actually, he can cover too, so you could play him at Sam if you really wanted to. But I like him better at outside linebacker, and he's got the perfect size for it. Just a total perfect package for this defense. And the last guy I put on here, James Houston the fourth. I just really like him. He played in a couple of the bowl games, the NFL PA Bowl, and and that type of thing. Went to the Shrine Bowl. So the thing with him is he looked a little out of place when they played him in the Shrine Bowl at inside linebacker. At the NFLPA Bowl, they played more on edge, and he looked very comfortable. He had 16 and a half sacks last year. So, yeah, that's why. But he's 6'1", 244, 4'6", 40, 39 vert, 10'5", broad jump, 22 bench press reps. I think he's just still learning the position of linebacker. But on the edge, I'd play him at Sam because he can cover. He showed he could cover. You see the picture of him here? So I would put him at Sam, honestly, and just let him grow into an inside linebacker position eventually. But just that athletic profile and 16 and a half sacks, I mean, come on. Let's get that guy in uniform. And then I wasn't going to put this many running backs, but who knows? Josh Jacobs? I don't know. You never know what might happen there. So I went, and I really like Damian Pierce, too. I think he's a fantastic player. And if he was there in the 4th round, I think that'd be tough to pass up. So I went ahead and did that. 5'10", 218, 4'5'9", 40, 34 and a half vert, 9'11 broad jump, 21 of the bench press, which is absolutely perfect. Is exactly what, if you pull up, this was on the other day, New England's prototypical running back. Well, that's it. All 3 of these guys are. Cortez Ingram, who obviously we have our USC running backs coach, so he knows him well. 5'11", 221, 4.53 speed, 34 and a half vert, 10.2 broad jump is great, 23 on the bench press, so he's strong. And so, yeah, we're kind of looking for, Josh Jacobs' replacement. So both these guys, I think, have a bright future ahead of them. And Kevin Harris is really good. I loved him out of South Carolina. Just he has some injuries. If he's injury free, he's the best running back on this board here. Then I'm talking about 5'10", 221, 4'6", 240, 37 and a half for 10.3 broad jump, 4.26, I think, short shuttle and 7.39, 21 reps. So very, very good player. I really like him as a player as well. So anyways, that's kind of how I did my draft board, and I'm going to enjoy the draft. I might come on after the first round if there's any big news, or maybe do a quick mock or something like that, depending on who goes. Who knows? Or I might just enjoy the draft, but I'm definitely going to be watching these players. These are the 31 players that I closely have my eye on. I want to see how they do. If you guys want to share your main guys, if you think I screwed this up, let me know. If you like what I did or got some other feedback, some guys you're watching, I'd love to hear what you got to say out there, Raider Nation. Please like, share, subscribe, especially if you stayed to the end of the video. Sorry it was long, just a lot to cover, and had a lot of fun doing it. The draft is always exciting, so let's just see what happens tomorrow. All right, Raider Nation, this is Raider Sparks, and happy draft day.